Shalom, shalom, Israel. I want to start by giving all glory and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. On the brother Juan for down to Bay, Florida, from the camp prophets in Babylon. Coming to the quick here to the spirit power of BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Lord, wanted to edify and feed the sheep. Double honor to that was an apostle, great MILLSTONE, treat you well. Peace and blessings to the brothers who push this work, to sincerity, to the sky abroad. And I just wanted to entitle this lesson, all right, Satan, okay, and these demons want what's precious to you. All right, they want what's precious to you. All right, which we know this wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. All right, the faith, okay, this truth, okay, knowing the names is precious to us, man. All right, sincerely. You see, and these demons, they know that, all right, that we are, fighting to be in, in righteousness. We're fighting against this flesh, continually. All right, where we're focusing on and disciplining ourselves on, being as, perfect as possible within this corruptible flesh, man. And, knowing that we're in, this battle, all right, of an everyday thing, all right, is, going to get nothing but much more tougher, as we go on. These demons are going to try to, in other words, attack what's precious to you. Okay, and there's scriptures here to let us know and remind us, all right, of these constant battles that come to mind. All right, and I just want to grab a few precepts. All right, going into it. Lord, once again, Lord, one of this lesson is edifying to you, Akim, Akawah, to seeking the Lord to the sincerity. Just a quick little lesson to encourage you, Akim. All right, continue to fight the good fight of faith, as the scripture says, and just remain, firm, man. All right, just remain firm and continue to do, what's pleasing to Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, and that's, pretty much all we can do, all right, in this wicked place, man. All we can do is, focus on what we can do that's pleasing to our power. All right. But once again, in doing this, we're going to have demons that's trying to get at you, man. All right. And one of them is, starting off with, these devils, man. Okay. You got Ephesians chapter 6. Verse 12, and it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places," man. Okay, because constantly we're waking up, dealing with something. All right, rather it be bills, all right, rather it be, the stress that this body has been put under from continuous work. All right, not getting enough rest. What you might be consuming, okay, even if it's trying to eat as healthy as possible, everything here is just still jacked up. And then on top of that, you have on the flip side, all right, when we are amongst these people, for the lack of better words, I should say, you got people who got demons on them, all right, ready to try to provoke you, to try to get you out of the spirit. These wicked enchantments that go up every year. All right, these rituals that take place every year. People celebrating these wicked pagan holidays. The whole nine, man. This is the battles that we have to, fight constantly as we are in this corruptible flesh. Okay, in this corrupted world. You see, and everything is at our, it's at us. It's against us. All right, nothing here, all right, is really for us besides what we do when it comes towards Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, doing the will that the Lord has set upon us to do so. Okay, and having the brothers, all right, and the little stuff that you can, pretty much manage, man. Because everything else here is gonna perish. All right, as we scripture says, the fashion of this world shall pass away. All right, roughly paraphrasing, man. But in the midst of these things, you got demons, man. They're going to constantly try to plague your mind. All right. There's going to constantly try to have you with some type of nostalgia of things when you were, when you were younger. All right. Or when you were, when you didn't have this truth. You know, you're gonna deal with these thoughts. You know, you might be driving past the area, and you might have a memory that come to mind, like, damn, man, I remember. You know what? You rebuke those demons. You gotta rebuke those demons, man. And I say this because this is a thing that comes along with that what's the word I'm looking for? You know what? For a better word, is that what comes with that renewing of your mind. All right, because you have it where these things might come, and the old man tries to, you know, work on those thoughts, really those demons. Okay, and it could be a drinking habit. It could be you know, a food eating, you know, habit. It could be you know, chilling with women too much, maybe indulging into the game too much. You know, it could be all sorts of things, you know, that brothers might find a comfort in, that could be possibly trying to get at you. You know, somehow, some way. You might have family members where you used to stay, all right, that, you know, brought those memories to you. You see, you might have seen your family members. They know, you might have to pull back on those family members. You know, you can't hang around Jake too much. You can't be around, you know, your family too much, because they be doing the same shit that you you know, you are restricting yourself from, or that you don't want to be around. Niggas want to still be smoking and you know, having all these wicked conversations, the whole nine, man. I'm just, you know, touching on different topics that, you know, brothers might, you know, be fighting or dealing with. All right, and these are all the things that we deal with in this wicked kingdom that's being allowed by these wicked rulers, man. Okay, and it has not been put to a stop yet, but we are approaching that stop very much soon, man. Though we believe, our brothers, our Lord willing, it be, you know, this year. You see, but reading that again, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." Right, like I said, which, you know, witches and warlocks and, you know, magicians and all these dark enchantments, you know, that's being put up, man, to attack brothers. All right, to keep you from, you know, ultimately being your best. All right, being at your best when it comes to serving your power, man. All right, YAHAWASHI. It says, against spiritual wickedness in high places, and we're dealing with heavier demons than we was than the year before. You know, every year it gets a lot more tense. Okay, it gets a lot more amped up, but so does the spirit does. You know, so does the spirit grow and constantly build in the spirit. You know, it's like the Lord is preparing us for the next wave, okay, so to speak, what's to come. And when you are spiritually equipped, you have that armor, you have that helmet, you know, you have those things like that, as the scripture goes into, actually in this same chapter. All right, so, you know, these things, you know, we have to really gird up ourselves and protect ourselves from, because constantly demons, all right, and Satan himself is trying to get at you, man. All right, let's grab this right quick. And like I said, I don't want to make this too long, you know. I don't want to be too long-winded with this, but I'm just, you know, once again, some words of encouragement to lift you, Akim Akwata, you know, up in the spirit, man, because, you know, we know the Yahawashi is on his way, man. Okay, and he's going to look out for those who are doing, you know, putting towards and doing those works, you know, that's calling upon those, you know, his name, you know, calling upon those names, YAHAWASHI, you know, constantly seeking him and the whole nine, man, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It says, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "Be sober, be vigilant." It says, "Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." And we're constantly, you know, noticing new things when it comes to being in different predicaments. You see, that's why the scriptures tell us not think it strange concerning the fiery trial. Because although we are being tried and being put through certain predicaments, you know, on that left hand side, you have these demons and Satan himself, okay, trying to provoke you, trying to agitate you, your inward agitate, okay, you brothers, man. Like when it was asked of Peter, you know, it says, Simon, Simon, you know, how it goes, Satan sing, you know, let me see if I can grab it. Shalakia. Yeah. Here it is right here. It says Luke chapter 22 verse 31. All right, getting the point. All right, because I don't want to butcher the scripture, right? I just want to get the full, you know, conclusion of the matter. It says, and the Lord YAHAWASHI said, Luke 22 and 31, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Okay, it says, verse 32, but I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not, and when thou art converted, Salakia, strengthen thy brethren. All right, and the point is that you know, when you go into that sift, all right, goes into inwardly agitate. Okay, so you got demons that's gonna try to come in and try to inwardly aggravate you and, you know, irritate you, you know, for anything and everything. It could be your woman, it could be your children, it could be you know, a family member, it could be people at your job, it could be, you know, someone you consider your loved one, someone you consider a friend, whoever, you know, that could have a demon on them to try to provoke you to get out of the spirit, or try to provoke you to do something that you wouldn't usually do. All right, ultimately something that's of the flesh carnally, you see. And sometimes it don't even necessarily have to be that. It could just be wanting to get a reaction out of you, all right, or wanting you to just react. Sometimes you just don't have to react, you know. You don't have to react to everything, all right. You don't have to go about you know, getting on somebody's ass about everything. You know, you could handle it another way, and that's why we have the scriptures. Okay, so back into let's go back into 1 Peter. That was the point. You see, 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8, it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking who he may devour. So we went into it. Okay, he's always be seeking who, you know, he may devour, man. All right, he's looking for those cracks and you know, chips within your armor. You know, trying to find a way to slip in. Okay, to try to get at you in some type of way, man. And that's Satan, man. All right, so like I'm gonna let this truckle by. All right, but that's Satan, man. Satan's, you know, he seeks to have what's precious to you. All right, he wants you to forget those things of your first love, man. All right, that's what he wants. He wants to distract you. He wants to put your mind somewhere else into BS. All right, things that don't completely matter. Want your mind to be given to thoughts that doesn't really matter. That's not gonna benefit you at all. Your ultimate, goal, all right, or desire. Okay, and that's really to get the hell up out of here, man. All right. And I quoted it earlier, but the scripture says, think it not strange concerning fiery trial, which is to try you. So these things are, meant to try us in multiple different ways. All right, but as we stay firm in our integrity, all right, in these situations and endure it, you know, we know that the Lord Yahawah is going to always get us through these situations, okay, despite whatever is set up against us, man. You know, whether it's demons, whether these people, all right, whether it's family members, you know, we know, all right, and that's our faith, and we trust, all right, the Yahawah is going to, you know, defend us, man. As the scripture says, strive for the truth unto death, and Yahawah fight for thee. All right, so that was on my spirit to bring it out. Lord, one of you brothers was edified to the next time I'm gonna say shalom.